It's never easy.
It's never easy. Right.
Never easy.
Rogue. I'm just going to say my piece very quickly. It's Empty Child, but the Temu version.
Yeah.
Version what?
The Temu version.
I don't even think you can even call it that, because that would imply there's, a few good things in it. There really aren't, in my opinion.
It's a classic whodunit from the first Wrestle era. It's a fun episode. It's like Space Babies. It's a fun episode, but it's poorly written.
I'm gonna sound like a classic Who fan, which at this rate isn't even a bad thing. I don't think the Doctor should be kissing anyone. I said it.
He shouldn't. He and also immediately jump-starting a relationship with Rogue, and then
with a guy who's a bounty hunter,
which the Doctor says is hot, and I'm just like, the Doctor hates bounty hunters. He hates killers. Rogue is a bounty hunter and a killer, so
yeah. And the Doctor's all like, yeah, but this guy's so hot.
Yeah, and then he makes a joke about him being a bounty hunter in the TARDIS when, again, Hans makes the groaning noise. Oh, she doesn't like bounty hunters, so it's bad digestion. I'm like, okay, that's okay. I kind of laughed at him. So, Doctor, come on.
And it's like, the thing, and people point to, but Captain Jack. The Doctor didn't really like Captain Jack. Captain Jack just is horny for the Doctor.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Doctor did not kiss Captain Jack. Captain Jack kissed the Doctor because Captain Jack loves the Doctor. And the Doctor takes a long time to be friends with Captain Jack. There's a conflict there because they disagree with each other on many things. Yeah. There's an actual dynamic there. Here, there's nothing.
The Doctor and Jack can actually be a very fun dynamic, them constantly making jokes to each other about who's better. I've got a sports car, you got a space hopper. That line there. Great. Yet another example of the Doctor just being cowardly and somebody else saving the day and not him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Noticing something here of the Doctor not actually being the one to save the day.
Ruby almost dies, the Doctor cries.
Yeah.
Very routine. Silly monsters and run down corridors. It was slightly, could have been better written.
There were monsters in this episode.
Honestly, those as we were describing.
I forgot what they were called.
The shoulders.
I thought they were a bit odd. That's the point. But I wasn't a fan. It's the whole thing of them making Bridgerton references. I don't know why they're relying on the popularity of another show. It feels like it's overkill. Stop mentioning this other show.
And just like, why are you referencing the bad thing? Reference Pride and Prejudice. Sensibility.
It comes across as meat riding bigger franchises and TV shows at this point.
It was very funny to me because when you said, if I hear, "Oh my Bridgerton" one more time, as soon as you said that, they say it.
Literally.
I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah. They also confused cosplay with LARPing in this episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Slightly different. This is gonna sound freaking nerdy as hell for me to say, but I've cosplayed as Ghost and Michael Myers. Cosplaying is dressing up as the character to go to a convention. LARPing, that's basically what they're doing. Dressing in costume, acting like in that era.
Yeah.
That's
you become them. You fit into it. It's like French Revolution reenactments in America that happen quite often.
Yeah.
You're playing something you're not and having fun with it.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's a reenactment. It's LARPing, not cosplay.
Which they constantly say throughout the episode.
Because if Rodney, you cosplayed as Michael Myers, you're going to start killing people.
That's method. Now that is method.
Method acting.
Yep.
Do I call teenagers up asking what their favorite movie is and then kill them?
Anyway,
that's going to be a weird segment in the episode.
Anyways.
Weirdly enough, this is the only episode in the series to not be written by a returning writer. This is the only episode with 2 new writers.
How the hell did they...
New writers, anyway. Yeah.
What? How the hell did they mess up... Oh, no.
What makes it more annoying, these people worked on Loki.
which Russell heavily criticised.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, he criticised something about Loki being bisexual or something, and it only being mentioned, and Russell wanted more than that.
I kind of agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, I think I agree with him in the sense that the show doesn't play on that. It's just mentioned because it's there for representation.
Yeah.
The
thing is, Loki himself, even in Norse mythology, is pretty much he doesn't have a set gender. He's a horse in one moment, a female in another. Like,
yeah,
Loki. I like care about. Yeah,
Loki is gender fluid.
Yep.
And pansexual.
Yeah.
Or bisexual, one of the two, it doesn't matter. As someone who is bisexual, and then you have a character, just the way he mentioned it is it's very bisexual coded. But then you have a love interest that's a woman, and then you don't have have a male love interest, or someone who's non-binary. You have nothing in between, and then you don't build that into the show. It's just mentioned because it's mentioned. Yeah. I agree with Russell in that sense.
No, the thing, and what makes it weird is the woman he falls in love with is just himself. That's a female. Yeah.
Anyways,
so that's self-cessed.
Back to Doctor Who.
Doctor Who now, guys.
Anyway, before this turns into a Loki review,
which we have done.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yep.
I wasn't. I don't think I was there, but I remember.
Wait, Sam, have we?
Yeah, in the old days of Brain Cell, we did do a review of Loki.
Anyway, let's get back on track. We have a couple more episodes to do.
I'm gonna give Rogue a generous 4 out of 10.
Initially, I did give it a 4, but another I don't care out of 10.
Fair.
Another I don't care what?
I don't care out of 10.
Yeah, that's what I've gone to now.
Okay.
What's yours?
Oh, good question. Yes.
Yes, out of 10.
Yes, out of 10.
Yes, because I don't know what to rate.
Wait, yes, question mark?
Yes.
Okay.
Moving on. Next episode.
Legend of Ruby Sunday.
What?
The culmination of everything that came before it, quote unquote. This is where we find out who Ruby's mum is, what's going on, who's Mrs. Flood, who is this woman that keeps appearing, all that. Is it Susan? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, all you can say about it is just, yeah.
We have 3 new members of UNIT. We have a 13-year-old. Then we have Harriet. And then Rose now works here. May I mention, also another child working at UNIT.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, just, yep. That makes sense.
Rose doesn't add anything.
She doesn't. It's. I'm gonna go on a mini tangent.
Yeah,
Rose.
Yeah.
When you cast an actress who is really good and stuff, same with Shuyi Gao. When you cast an actor that's really good and stuff, and then you have the audacity to put them in something garbage and have them just be there. Just have them be there. Just the actress who plays Rose, I forget her name. Great in Heartstopper. Love her in Heartstopper. Then she does nothing in this episode, and she also does nothing in the 60th specials. Anyways, that's me done with that.
Okay, right off the bat, everyone is complimenting everybody, and it comes across as very shallow and boring, and it tires me out.
Yeah, or as to how they introduce it. Howard is on the bridge.
Doctor on the bridge. Like they have a whole protocol for the Doctor just arriving now.
Yeah, no, especially how he arrives, just skidding across the floor. Like, Doctor, come on. Your ship is sent. That's not going to feel good to her.
Why are they saying Doctor on the bridge? It's not a starship, it's a tower.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then how he just opens up, give me the lovin'.
Cringe.
And then he hugs Rose, which was like, I'm sorry, has 15 met Rose before this episode?
Nope. This is literally Rose's first time seeing 15, and there's...
They're gonna pull on, they met off-screen once.
Oh,
you want a job?
Also, Mel works there as well now.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't mind that. I like that.
That's in character.
This episode, when we first watched it, we all loved it. This episode, in essence, is really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Even when you think about it, yeah, there are many issues which we will touch upon, but it's still a good episode. But that only stays once the second part of it pays it all off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I do feel like the small mistakes in this episode, I feel like at the time we forgave those because it was a part one. You know, it was half of an episode, half of a story. So, you know.
And the build-up in this episode is really good.
Yeah.
And this is one of the first times in a while with Doctor Who where it's genuinely scary.
Yeah, the TARDIS. They made the TARDIS scary for a while there.
They made the TARDIS scary, and the sound design for the TARDIS is
really
wonderful. It's wonderful. As somebody who's learning sound design and loves it a lot, it just makes me happy hearing good sound design and more stuff.
Yeah, I just like how the Doctor wanted them, get away from there, get out. Because you never hear the Doctor say, get away from the TARDIS. And then the ending reveals, like, huh. The Susan Triath thing was, oh no,
Okay, here's if this wasn't a reboot, it wouldn't be an issue. Well, it would. Okay, it would still probably be an issue. Sutekh returning now. Sutekh, you need prior knowledge of who this character is. You need to watch a classic episode that came around about 50 years before it.
I feel like I kind of agree, but I think about Utopia and the Master reveal and how new fans probably felt there.
True.
Because I feel like new fans probably would have been, oh, the Master's probably someone really important. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
With Sutekh, I feel like the reaction would probably be more, why are they acting like they know this? Is this an important alien?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the thing. I think I rewatched it with you guys, like a bit of experiment.
I didn't watch it.
No, you watched it with me.
Yeah, I watched it with you. I'm like, I already knew about Sutekh. I'm like, it's because I was very knowledge. I'm like, oh my god.
I will say this. I had no idea who Sutekh was going into this episode.
Yeah.
I had never heard the name, I'd never seen the name, didn't even know who the character was, because I've not seen a lot of classic Who. And when it said it was Sutekh, my brain went, huh, I'm pretty sure this is an important character. Maybe. I didn't know, but I was just like, okay, this character might be all super powerful and whatnot, and is a big threat. Okay, I guess.
Yeah.
That was my thought process, because I've never seen this character ever.
Yeah, I get that. After this episode came out, they did release a Tales of the TARDIS special edition of Pyramids of Mars, which was introduced by 15 and Ruby in the Memory TARDIS, which didn't exist yet. And it was basically 15 saying, "Oh, I've fought Sutekh before." And so they played the whole of Pyramids of Mars, except they cut small things out, which they didn't really need to do. And they updated the effects of Sutekh going, like, being,
transported. And
put into the time tunnel, yeah. They updated the effects. I'm not
the
sure.
effect of the poster.
Just watch the original.
Yeah.
It's on iPlayer, just watch the original story.
I need to watch Pyramids of Mars.
Yeah, I think you should. I love it.
I do like the aspect of this episode where some of the characters do criticize the Doctor and kind of put him in line, like, grow up, stop. You need to need to stop having like a little fuss and a moan and a little strop and actually get to it. You're 9 billion years old or something, and you still act this way. Grow up.
It's several billion years old at this point.
When that one guy from UNIT gets killed, and Kate gives him that sort of look. I love that. And there's a
disappointed look.
Yeah, and then 15 and Mel go off to meet Susan Triad because the Doctor thinks she's Susan, like his granddaughter. I don't know where he got that idea from, other than he mentioned it a few episodes ago.
He mentioned it in it's mentioned in Devil's Cord.
Oh yeah, no, it is mentioned, but it's sort of like there's how many Susans are there in the world again?
Yeah, I think it works because it keeps appearing. whatnot, and her name is Susan, so I could understand the parallels of why the Doctor would think that way. And when the Doctor goes, "Do you dream of being an ambulance?"
The top-notch dialogue there.
Yeah.
Dialogue laughed my head off.
So 15, as a bit of a tantrum, Mel goes, "Stop grizzling." You know, I love that. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I think Mel is probably the best character in probably this story.
Yeah. I'll agree with you on that one.
You know, not only is she a returning character, but they gave her a character this time, and I like that. Because in Classic Who, you know, she just stood there and screamed because the 80s Doctor Who. So I like that she has a lot of stuff to do now.
Yeah, they developed the character a lot off screen as well. Yep.
When the Doctor asks Kate, "Do you have a time window?" It's the funniest thing. It's the funniest thing.
You told us to not mess with time. Where is it? 10th floor down.
It is just like the Doctor knows that they're not gonna like abide by his rules.
Yeah,
you know, because they're like
it's unit. They've always been like that.
It's unit. They're people.
The
Doctor just knows people and understands how people work. Like he's not too fast. And
the Black Archive, the Doctor can never know about this. Doctor, I know about the Black Archive and I know about the protocol. Well, the Doctor will know before you. If you try to hide something from the Doctor, the high chance the Doctor already knows.
Yeah, the Doctor just knows everything. And then we have the whole time window scene, which is so cool. And and you have the snow thing and the joke with the kids saying, "I haven't even turned it on yet."
Yeah.
What I found funny is how the Doctor is just immediately bashing them and making fun of him for how the time window looks.
That was great. That was really good.
But the time window scene, we all liked, and it was interesting how wow, it changed again. And like, do not interfere with the memory, or it could also. I'm sorry, it's a memory. How the hell can you change it? She points out the Doctor. And then apparently behind the TARDIS, which, for some reason, that TARDIS is almost solid. Which we'll get into for the next bit, as the second episode. And then all of a sudden, a weird voice starts happening. And this extra soldier goes behind TARDIS, and he's gone.
He's gone. And
Kate gives him a look. The Doctor look like, "You did it. This is your fault." She's pointing at him.
There's this in the entire scene there with him going behind the thing. But like that entire scene is terrifying.
Yeah,
that came out at midnight. I was in my room. It was dark. I was home alone. I was like, "Bruh, I'm shit scared right now."
Watching the last couple of live.
I love it when Doctor Who goes full horror. I love it when it is dark and scary because it has some of the best moments when it does.
Yeah.
Even with the whole memory change and pointing thing, it's still scary. And then we meet Susan Triad. That whole scene happens of her kind of is it her campaign thing that she does?
It's some technology thing.
Yeah, the technology thing.
Yeah.
And then the entire campaign thing changing into what the villain is saying, and then Harriet Harbinger kind of talking as well. And the whole thing is built up so well, and you have more groans from the TARDIS, all these things, and all these characters are separated. There are actual stakes with this episode, which doesn't happen often, and it's just genuinely horrifying stuff.
It is, and for that episode, it was effective. So, are we gonna put these two episodes in one big rating, or are we gonna do them separate?
Separate and one big one, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's how it is on Letterboxd. They've kind of combined it. Same with the whole marketing with these episodes. So, Legend of Ruby Sunday, as an episode on its own, 8 out of 10. Maybe a 7.
I gave it a 6 because there are still issues with the episodes, but
yeah, I can
It's the highest I've given an episode in the season.
I'd agree with 6 as well. It jumps.
Fair enough. Yeah, Rodney?
I think 5.
Fair enough.
Coolies. Empire of Death. Now, I'm not going to talk much about this. I'm going to let Reese and Rodney talk about it because...
If you do, you might spiral into a...
Insanity.
into a frenzy.
The questions that still haven't been answered. Who is Ruby Sunday? Who is her mum? Why does her mum point when she never did in the old memory? What has Sutekh got to do with this? Who is Mrs. Flood? And this episode is just Survivors of the Flux 2.0. Anyways, you talk.
I will say that they did answer who Ruby's mother is, because, we know her full name, and what she looks like and everything, and what she's been doing.
Yeah,
but
that was answered.
it's just, I think it's the reasoning, and, we'll get to that later, but... So yeah, everyone in Unit dies.
Yep.
That's the beginning. Everyone in Unit is dead, which at the time of watching it felt very, well, this is it now. This is it. And then you see Carla die, and then Mrs. Flood, and then Sherry, and then you're like, yeah, this isn't gonna stay. So it instantly feels like it's been reversed. Time window stuff happens. For some reason, the time window invents a new TARDIS, because apparently time is a memory or something. I genuinely do not know what the explanation for it was, and I don't care because it was stupid. And then the Doctor says to Ruby, remember harder or something. And then the light sort of pings, and it's sort of like, yep, ready. It's like, did the TARDIS turn into a microwave or something? What was that? So that somehow creates a TARDIS, and then we get the thing of Sutekh being latched onto the TARDIS since Pyramids of Mars, which I think is stupid, because this means that you have to sort of... I don't know how to say this, but it's like, with the knowledge of Sutekh being latched onto the TARDIS this whole time, you have to adapt that to everything previously. And I feel like when you do that, it sort of ruins it a bit, because you're then thinking about things like the Crucible and Journey's End. Why Sutekh was completely fine during that. The Big Bang as well. Things like that. And the TARDIS duplicating in the Giggle, this apparently means that there aren't two Sutekhs, even though the TARDIS did get duplicated and Sutekh was latched onto the TARDIS. And by that point, Sutekh was awake. So, explain that one. So then they go into the memory TARDIS, and we do get a nice bit of Mel hugging the 6th Doctor's outfit, which I do love. I love that a lot. And that's it for the good. And then they just go into space and see that everything has been covered in sand. Apparently, even every sun is dying. Which doesn't make sense, because there's still daylight in the future.
Yeah. Because the Doctor has gone to... hasn't he gone to, like, the beginning of the world? Or beginning of Earth? If so, then the world would have ended ages ago and there would be no Earth. And also, the annoying thing is with the end of the world or end of the universe stories is the fact that we've seen the universe to the end already. So you can't... How are you going to do that when we've already seen the universe still intact?
Yeah. Also, keep in mind that Rose's universe, the parallel universe, that's dead.
I mean, it must be now, because the TARDIS has been on that... the TARDIS has been there.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's only fixed the current universe and that whole timeline. Because how is it going to fix the parallel universe? So does that mean the clone and Rose and that whole universe is gone?
I think it's a stupid rule to have wherever the TARDIS lands, a new Susan Triad spawns. That's so stupid. Because, everything is dead and it's all the Doctor's fault, even though we didn't know. But with that comes a lot of holes and issues and all types of things and all types of questions. Are people in the parallel universe fine now? Even though things eventually did get reset. But we didn't really see anything with the parallel universe, or if that ever reset. We only saw from this universe's perspective of things being returned to normal. I assume the parallel universe did as well. Are the Tylers and the Dr. Donna, or whatever his name was that ever like an actual name for that 10 clone? Because I usually
I don't
call
remember
him.
if there was one.
I usually just refer to him as the Dr. Donna Doctor, even though that's stupid.
I just call him you.
It's sort of like, so are they dead?
Must be.
I assume not, because I don't know. I don't think Russell thought that far ahead, so why should we?
Ah, true.
So then they reintroduced the intelligent gloves, which is fine. But then
Yeah.
they invent intelligent rope. Or
Yeah, I'm sorry.
rather, Russell
They-
just invents intelligent rope. Because, yeah. I can't remember what happens in that whole sequence, but then we get some scene on a planet with a woman and a baby and a table with like a spoon or something. And she gives him this spoon and he just sort of cries at it. He just sort of looks at the spoon and says, I don't know what he says, but he sort of cries at the spoon. It's that image alone that sort of makes me
Spoon.
giggle a bit. They introduced the whole thing of, information, facts, things that came before are dying. And so the woman dies, turns into dust, and we find out that the baby had already died, which is very dark and grim.
Yeah, okay, I was shocked, but I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was very dark and grim.
I liked that bit.
Yeah. It's fine. Then the Doctor uses that spoon to sort of get the monitor working more. And then we suddenly see a clip of this the guy from 73 Yards, the news bloke, and Roger Ap William saying dialogue we hadn't actually heard in 73 Yards, which I think didn't benefit anything, because I feel like if it was introduced in that episode it would have, I don't know, I feel like it wouldn't have felt as random. But they introduced that everyone has to have their DNA taken.
Yeah.
So that they have the information of every person, which is obviously morally not good. And then they sort of use this to their advantage and say, oh, maybe your mum did that. Well, maybe your mum did that. So on the sort of off chance that she may have agreed to do that, they go to 2040. Was it 2046 or 2049? I can't remember. But they go there. And they go to the room where Roger Ap William was apparently overthrown or something. I don't know. I don't know what that whole thing was or what it even meant. The Doctor unlocks the door because guess who invented the security? Great. And then Ruby has her DNA taken, and they try and find Ruby's mother through one of the computers, or I don't know what, on there. Which the monitor that the Doctor has randomly just fits. For some reason, it sort of just fits. I don't know. Very odd. It just so happens to. And then we get some weird stuff with Mel, and she's all tired, and she's basically dying. Mel's basically dying, and we get this really eerie sequence where she's sort of holding her head, and you hear Sutekh say some cryptic shit, I don't know. and then we learn that she's become one of the, I forget what they're called, but one of the people who deposit the sand, I suppose. One of Sutekh's minions. So yeah, then they're all back at Unit HQ where there's daylight, even though every son is dead. And the Doctor gets basically paused by a big green light from Sutekh, which is nice callback to Pyramids of Mars. I'll allow that. Then Ruby baits Sutekh into sort of believing that she's going to give him the identity of her mother. I don't know why Sutekh cares.
I don't know why Sutekh would care about that. This god, this super powerful being, and he wants to know who someone's mother is? Okay. Right?
It's so odd. It's so odd. So she smashes the screen, and then she gets the intelligent rope, hooks it onto his collar, because Sutekh has a collar.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because dog. And then we get the whole sequence of the intelligent rope and the intelligent gloves combining together to, I don't even know what happens. Doesn't the Doctor blow a whistle? And that, for some reason, like, opens a compartment at the TARDIS console that unleashes a big laser that shoots Harriet. For some reason. I don't know why. It just happens to be there, and Harriet just goes towards it. It's like, get out the way. But anyway, that had to happen because, obviously. So yeah, the Doctor and Ruby get the TARDIS back, and they drag Sutekh through the time vortex because there's nothing more Doctor Who than taking the dog for a walk in the time vortex. So we get this whole really... people say it looks really good. I think it does to an extent, but I think the actual model of Sutekh flailing around, it feels a bit goofy, but I'll allow it.
I think that's the point, that it's supposed to be goofy.
Well, yeah. They force Sutekh to sort of claw the side of the time vortex, which apparently, reverts time. Or reverts everyone dying, so everyone's alive again. I'm not really sure how that works, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And then we get the whole big speech of the Doctor saying, "I'm better than you, I pride myself on that I'm better because I bring life." And then he goes on a big old thing about what happens when you bring death to death, you bring life. Which is extremely flawed logic, because if you add 0 onto 0, you don't get 1, you will always get 0. If you add death onto death, you don't get life. You just get death. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, so everything is back to normal, everyone is safe and sound. And UNIT are now finding the identity of Ruby's mother. Now, this is the fun bit. We get the identity of Ruby's mother, and it is some random woman who is a nurse. Which is fine. But throughout the series, we had small things of... It felt like they were teasing an entity. A weird cosmic entity. You know? Something not human, something unworldly. You know, with the memory changing, for some reason, wearing a cloak, which is already an odd decision in itself. Then again, I suppose hiding her identity, but where does she get a cloak? Anyway, that whole thing happens. Oh, true.
Must be a cosplayer.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh yeah. God, I feel stupid now.
Yeah, it's like, I understand what they were trying to do with, you know, having like, oh, she's this really mysterious thing, and just like goes, she's actually a normal person. And it's... I think what it doesn't work here is when you have... she is a normal person, but she's part of the NHS. And if she's part of the NHS, you'd probably be able to find who she is quite
and
easily.
And they make a big deal about none of her parents being able to be found.
Yeah,
even though she's a nurse for the NHS.
And just like, and I'm gonna have like a quick little mini thing here. Star Wars: The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Star Wars: Force Awakens, you have Rey, and it's set up she's an orphan, doesn't know who her parents are, yada yada. And there's things that's teased throughout that film, and then in The Last Jedi, the film basically goes, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter who her parents are. And I feel like that's what this could have done, potentially. I think I would have preferred it if they just, you know, made her mum more of an interesting thing than just a standard person who's in the NHS, because you've built up so much.
You know, how can't an NHS nurse be found through DNA? I feel like it's sort of unbelievable, and it wasn't thought through, because it wasn't. Yet again, another example of Russell opening up mystery boxes and then coming up with the answer later. Like, he has this thing of writing himself into a corner.
Yeah.
And this was a thing in his original run as well.
Yeah, and...
where he writes himself into a corner.
And doesn't come up with a satisfying ending for really anyone, because it's like, in this episode... has a low rating. Again, it has a 6.5, which is shockingly low for Doctor Who. Doctor Who is consistent in getting a 7.8 to like an 8.3 most of the time. And this getting a 6.5, which is the third lowest rated episode of this season. This isn't the only time where I've hated a finale from Russell. The one that comes to mind immediately is Series 3 finale. I hate every single thing about that finale. It's one of the worst TV episodes I've seen, and also one of the worst Doctor Who episodes I've seen. I hate it a lot, because it goes everything against what Doctor Who is about. Because the Doctor in that episode is made to be God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, all that, and has a Dr. Jesus moment. The Doctor isn't a god. The Doctor tries to be a normal person, but has all these characteristics and, powers that are above quote-unquote humans. And he's not a god.
Yeah.
And the show emphasises he's not a god, he doesn't have a god complex until Time Lord Victorious, where he goes insane. It's an arc that happens, and immediately is shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like, back to the reveal, I feel like there's an element of the show sort of pointing and laughing at the audience, if you thought that this person was an entity or weird or something of a bigger scale, haha, joke's on you.
Yeah.
She's completely normal. There's a
Exactly.
difference. There's a difference between subverting expectations
and being a waste of time.
Yeah,
Because this is a waste of time.
And being a waste of 8 episodes. I think there's a difference.
It's legit like, fuck you.
So, there's that whole thing, and of course, Unit has a whole character description of Ruby's mother, because of course they do.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't be fun originally. That's bullcrap.
And then.
And what Russell's excuse for this? Oh, it was all for the social media engagement.
Social media engagement. And then Ruby meets her mum, yada yada yada. Then randomly Ruby leaves, and they have like a goodbye, and the Doctor cries for the 4th time this episode.
I wanted to sort of expand on these final 10 minutes a bit. Obviously, there's the pointing at the sign thing, and the sign just appears out of nowhere.
Yep.
So, the memory changed, so that would imply that initially she didn't actually point at the sign. But now apparently she's done that. Even though there's no one around to actually watch that happen. There's literally nobody around to see this happen and to see you name your child. How does that work?
Like, Russell thinks, Russell thinks, nobody is going to notice. Nobody at all. Russell, we know you fucking idiot.
Russell, you ain't slick.
Sorry, people watch this. He probably thinks it's at midnight, so people won't notice.
Yeah, and then we do get the scene where Ruby leaves, and she wants to find out about her family, what they've been up to, which is fair enough. But
yeah, it's fair.
Are we supposed to feel something?
Yeah, because it's not
like Ruby's actually leaving. But here's the thing: before the shot came out, they didn't officially reveal that Millie Gibson was going to stay for season 2. That cost her a lot of issues.
Yeah, and it was very poorly managed by Bad Wolf and Russell T Davis.
Yeah, it was actually disappointing as hell. But when the set leaks came out that she was, this ending immediately became honestly insignificant. Like any emotional reaction you could have had, gone.
There's no payoff. There's no consequences. Everything is fixed. Everything is happy, and you can literally just whatever comes after this, you can just skip to because it's not important.
And none of the development or attachment you could have had with Ruby is important anymore. It's all down the drain, and Russell thinks nobody will have noticed.
Yeah, this episode is certainly something.
Yeah. And then, of course, we get that very final bit of Mrs. Flood saying, "Oh, the Doctor's story ends in terror or something, or tragedy or something." And it's like, I don't care.
I don't care for this character.
I don't care about season 2.
I'm going to say this now, but it's going to be maybe ironic depending on what happens. But I genuinely don't want to continue watching Doctor Who if it's going to be a big waste of time, and that the audience is quote unquote for kids, even though the numbers that they got were young adults to adults, and I'm in that target demographic, and it's clearly missed the mark. So I will just stick to older episodes of Doctor Who and classic.
Heck, we've been watching Matt Smith episodes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've been loving that.
I've been watching Hartnell era all the way through. I'm getting close to finishing it, and I want to say I'm having a better time.
But like, when you think about this series and that era, which genuinely do you think is better? I'm inclined to say,
classic.
I'm inclined to agree because I haven't seen all of that era, but God,
yeah,
you know,
and it's really disappointing. I'm going to give my rating and then I'm going to say something else.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give this episode like a 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10. Yeah.
1 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I honestly I think same. 1 out of 10. Just
Yeah. I think the suckiest thing about this is the actors and the crew. I feel sorry for them. Specifically more for the actors, because this was a new role for Ncuti. He was in started off as a great show, but he was brilliant in that. He was given a character, and I was excited to see him in this. And now he is just named as the Crybaby Doctor, which sucks. And he is given
much range he has as an actor.
He has a lot of range, and he's given nothing to do. The only time where he's given something to do, acting-wise, is in Boom, but that's because of Moffat's writing for the Doctor. And he's not confident. He's none of the traits of the Doctor. And it's all down to Russell and stuff. And then you have Ruby, who has no character traits other than her mum. Who's her mum? Who am I? And she's just confused a lot of the time. She's boring. As again, all of these other characters are just boring. Unit are back for the billionth time. Why are they here again?
And somehow worse.
I just feel bad for the act. I feel really bad for them. And especially in the 60th specials, I feel bad for everyone in them, including Rose.
I might give the Christmas special a chance, because just to see, but they might not even get a commission for seriously. They're gonna wait. They're probably. He said might. He doesn't even know for sure.
So I don't want a season 3. I think it should be cancelled, and it should have time. It should have some breathing room. And if it gets picked up again, it gets picked up again. We need a new showrunner and a better writing team.
It's sad reading that quote from Russell saying, I think it will be picked up or something after season 2 is transmitted. That doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good at all. That's depressing.
There's so many issues with just this season. It being another reboot. There's the 4th one, I believe, we've had. Because, it started off with Series 10 being kind of like a jumping on point for new fans. Then Series 11 was another jumping point for new fans. Jumping on point for new fans. And then you have this reboot, which is a jumping on point for new fans again. And then you only do social media engagement and marketing for your entire basis on it. And then you also shorten the episodes for a show that really works when you have 12 or more episodes. It really doesn't work when you have 8 episodes. For a sci-fi show when you're travelling many planets and all that, you can't really do that with Doctor Who. It doesn't work unless those episodes are like Classic Who, where they're like 2 hours long most of the time. And this show, with this new season, you don't get enough time with any of the characters. You don't learn really anything about them. They just do things because the writer did it, and there's no cause and effect. There's planting for things, but the payoff, even if there is payoff, it doesn't work, and it's just bad. It's incredibly contrived. Doctor Who works when it's 13 episodes.
Yeah.
When you go for an incredibly crazy plot from the get-go, and it falls apart, especially if it's for new fans, for new people, you have screwed up massively.
Yeah.
And then for your main character, you don't set up an arc or have characterization, is also a bad move. Because they're not a character, they're just a 2D exposition vomiter.
It's sad.
It is sad, and yeah, again, I'm not watching the Christmas special, which
I don't know. I feel like at Christmas there's just so much better stuff on.
Yeah.
There's that Gavin and Stacey finale. There's that new Wallace and Gromit movie.
There's so many things.
There's a new Outnumbered episode.
There's so many things that I could be watching instead of this, and I think I will do that. Because I'm having a better time watching other things than I am with Doctor Who. And it's sad to say, because I love Doctor Who. I grew up with it. I've met Colin Baker twice. I've met several actors from Doctor Who. It's built in to my childhood and my life.
Yeah.
It's important, and especially for us as a family, it was something we would watch when it was on, up until Series 6, but we won't get into that. Series 6, it's an important show for everyone. Its audience is just the UK and everyone. It's not a kid's show, it's not an adult show.
It's an everyone show.
It's an everyone show.
Yeah. Like, for me, the show's my comfort show. It helped me through personal times, not to go into too much depressing details, but it still helps. I just watch clips and just look up stuff behind the scenes of some of the actors doing cons, or it might sound silly, I look at my picture of me with Jenna Coleman and I just feel happier.
Yeah, I love that clip at the end of one of the Doctor. I say one of them. It is the last episode of the Doctor Who podcast they did on the YouTube channel, and Russell goes on this big thing like, "There's so much stuff to come. Please come back." Please come back.
All I can say is you are literally in for the ride of a lifetime. Please come back.
No.
But please watch season 2.
And again, it's another big shame, as Russell's previous work was It's a Sin, which I watched before the 60th specials came out, and it's a 5-episode show. Each episode's like an hour long, and it has like 5-6 main characters with a bunch of side characters, a lot going on. Very heavy subject to talk about, a lot of themes in it, and while I will say it is a little too short, it could have done with an episode or 2 extra, but it still works with its 5 episodes. It's incredible from start to finish, and has some brilliant, well, I say some brilliant, most of the writing is brilliant. It's amazing, and there's so much emotion, so much weight in that show. I cried my eyes out several points watching It's a Sin. And to go from that to this new era of Doctor Who,
it's like day and night, I suppose.
Biggest whiplash ever.
Yeah, I feel like, based off of what you've said about It's a Sin, Russell can do character development in... Is It's a Sin 6 episodes?
It's 5 episodes long.
That proves my point even more. He can do characters in 5 episodes, but for Doctor Who, he just sort of fell over.
Yeah, it just... I don't understand how you stumble that hard. 5 episodes, a lot of main characters, a lot going on, and that show has several time jumps, but somehow it manages to work so well, and it feels so natural when it does have its time jumps. And in this, when you have that 6-month gap, is just like, why do you have this 6-month time jump, or whatever the time jump is from Space Babies to Devil's Cord? It's stupid. And even in It's a Sin, each episode, each character is still developing. There's not a moment where they don't develop. There's stuff going on with all of their lives, and it just makes it more disappointing just seeing this.
Yeah. I feel like what makes this far more disappointing than... It's a shame. I think this series was... I feel like there were times where I was more disappointed in this than I was of the majority of the Chibnall era, because more was riding on this, and we just come away from the era where it looked like the show was going to end. And 2 years later, it looks like the show's going to end.
Yeah. It's been a constant theme for years now of Doctor Who is it going to end now?
It is fully Michael Grade's fault for putting this fear in us.
I don't have much hope for Doctor Who in the future.
Me neither. If it does have a break, I hope it comes back stronger and with new talent.
Yeah, because while I have my massive issues with the BBC and massive issues with Doctor Who currently, I I would love to work on Doctor Who. I would love to work on Doctor Who, even if it did end up being a bad era. I would be happy working Doctor Who. It would be sad and disappointing if it was another bad era, and I had my name on that.
Yeah.
But I really want to. I'd love to work on Doctor Who. I'd like to write an episode. There's just Doctor Who is awesome.
Yeah, let's put it this way. The showrunners of Doctor Who, at least the current ones, are, known for complaining about the show.
Yeah.
So, I'd say we're halfway there.
We're halfway there.
We're qualified. We're qualified.
That's just most of the fans currently. We're all qualified now.
We're all, I think we're probably more qualified than Russell to be showrunners, yeah.
Yeah. Even I, who hasn't written scripts like you guys, even I've more better story ideas for this, or how I would do things.
Well, there's a limit.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Whoa.
Sorry, that was mean.
You guys have more. I have some that I'm working out.
Yeah.
No, you are writing stuff.
Yeah, and I'm writing stuff for uni. I'm writing a pilot episode as well.
Hey, make a pilot episode for this arrow shoots his doctor.
I can't. It has to be all original work. Quote unquote original work.
Well, Sam, we do have a thing that the two of us are working on.
True.
It's funny the fault of the position Doctor Who is in that I'm watching other science fiction shows.
Yep, we are.
Because I need something else to enjoy, and luckily the Orville Season 4 is happening, so I do have something new to enjoy.
And it's really sad when I'm like, I want to watch Doctor Who, but I struggle so much. Like, I want to watch the new Christmas special, well, if I wanted to, but I don't want to, because I know it's going to disappoint me. I know it's going to be bad, so I'm just going to watch all these other shows. I'm rewatching Stargate. I'm watching Andromeda. We're watching the Orville. Like, I'm watching The Expanse. I'm watching every other sci-fi show, and not Doctor Who. Cause
it's like there's so much good stuff out there.
There's so much good stuff out there. So much good sci-fi. So much better television coming out at the moment than this.
Yeah, I would much rather watch a repeat of an Only Fools and Horses special on Gold than watch Doctor Who on Christmas Day.
Exactly. I'd much rather watch an old show or a different show that's new.
Yeah.
So
sad.
It's sad. But with all that being said, I think that's probably a good time to end this episode.
Yeah, we've been recording for about 2 hours, maybe more. Yeah.
This recording, I'm going to keep this in the edit. We have been recording for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
What? This is we should have just streamed this.
My God.
So, without further ado, we hope you have enjoyed your evening, your day, your afternoon, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
See you later. Boop.
I'll be the Zane.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, folks. There's more where that came from. Click on the video on the screen now if you want to watch another one, or subscribe to one of our channels. Please. Do it, please. Subscribe to us. We want you to.